How would you describe this offense and what it could be?
Could be really good. I mean, obviously we typically have one of the better offensive teams in the game, and last year obviously was hopefully a blip in the road on that. So we'd like to return to what we usually are, which is a very strong, powerful, run-producing team.
Do you think the off-season work that players put in last winter, was that insufficient or fell short of expectations?
Don't want to say that, but I can just tell you no one wants to go back to 23. And the only way to put 23 behind us is have a double-down focus on 24. Obviously, that's with imports, improving the roster, but putting yourself in a better position to withstand injuries and rethink a lot of different things, and both individually and collectively. So I think we've certainly tried to do that. But that even if you're coming off of a successful year, you're supposed to be doing that too. But ultimately, I do think last year we wound up in a bad position early in some cases. In other cases, just happenstance. But some injuries, I think, were probably brought on by maybe not being in the best position to start. And other injuries like Judge's in right field in Dodger Stadium, or because of game competition. So.
Have you had any conversations with Gleyber about an extension, and do you view him as your long-term second baseman?
He's our second baseman for this year. Haven't had any conversations about anything past that.
What do you think of the shape that Carlos showed up in? Rodon.
Yeah, he looks good. He got down here early. He's been working extremely hard. Obviously now he's over here, but across the street with our personnel, and so now I'm really pleased. Obviously, the way he's put it, the position he's put himself in. So he would be an example of obviously someone that us wanting to forget what happened in 23. Can't forget, because you got to obviously use it as a stepping stone or a springboard to put you past, put that in the past. But ultimately, it just goes to show you he's coming after it hard and wants it bad, and he wants to pitch at a high level for our fan base.
What have you heard about Stanton's offseason, and what do you expect this year?
He's worked hard. Obviously he's a feared hitter, and so obviously with health and comes good performance, and so ultimately I think he's certainly worked his tail off this winter. And all the information I've gotten back from our staff, is that obviously he like everybody else we've just talked about is committed to find a way to be the impactful player that we know he can be. So for us in 24.
In what ways has his offseason been different?
I'll let him speak to that, but I think the conditioning side, I think you'll see a lighter version of him as you see him come in, and just again trying to figure out a different way so he can basically wreak havoc on opposing pitchers on a daily basis.
Knowing that you're only guaranteed 1 year or so, do you feel more pressure to add around him to make the roster that much better? I guess just knowing that you have that one shot.
I feel pressure to just, put the best team I can on the field. So it's just hard to match up, whether it's with an agent or with a opposing team. So that's the biggest thing. So, at the end of the day, it's not like you can just do whatever you want, whenever you want it. It comes at the expense of either dollars or high-end prospects that you're counting on or you don't have. Don't have financial wise, or don't have prospect or prospects you're counting on is what I'm trying to. So anyway, at the end of the day, it's easier said than done. But just because we have Soto, it's a big ad for a big reason. But that's why we also got Grisham with him. That's why we got Verdugo. That's why we added Stroman. That's why we added Victor Gonzalez and Ferguson. And I don't feel like we've stopped. We've been adding, and we've tried to add a lot more than that, but this is what we got to show for it.